Having obtained expression for drift speed, let us now proceed to obtain a relation between the drift speed and current. We will see how the current is affected by the drift speed of the free electrons. For the purpose, let's consider a conductor of length L having a uniform area of cross section A with n small n as number density of free electrons, that is the number of free electrons per unit volume. Suppose the left end of the conductor is connected to positive terminal and right end is connected to negative terminal, resulting in a current I from left to right. The electrons drift with a speed Vd from right to left against the direction of current. Now for the relation between drift speed and the current, the volume of the conductor is given by cross-sectional area A multiplied by the length of the conductor L. The total number of free electrons in the conductor will be this number density, that is number of free electrons per unit volume multiplied by the volume, that is N into A into L. As L is the length to be traversed or covered by the electrons with a speed Vd, the time taken to cross by the electrons to cross the conductor will be distance L divided by speed Vd. So current I is total charge divided by the total time, that is NALE. This is the charge on the free electrons which cross the conductor. The number of electrons NAL multiplied by charge on each electron E divided by the time L over Vd. L cancels out here and you get NEAVd. So the desired expression or relation between current and drift speed is I is equal to NEAVd, which implies current proportional to drift speed or drift speed proportional to current. The relation I is equal to NEAVd also helps us to derive Ohm's law which gives us relation between potential difference and current, and you have already studied this relation in class 10. Now let's proceed to derive this relation between V and I, or let's deduce Ohm's law from this expression. We have I is equal to NEAVd. You already have an expression for Vd as E capital E upon M into tau. Capital E the electric field and tau the relaxation time. The expression can be rewritten as E square N A tau upon M into V by L. Here we have used this relation E is equal to V by L, all other terms remaining unchanged. E into E square and A tau upon M, where E has been replaced by V over L because electric field is potential gradient V by L. So this relation leads us to the formula V over I is equal to ML over E square N tau into A. If we look at the terms on right hand side carefully, M is mass of the electron, a constant quantity, E the charge on electron, and the number density of free electrons per unit volume or the number per unit volume. Tau the relaxation time will remain constant if the temperature is kept fixed. For a conductor, L and A are also fixed quantities. Therefore, all the terms on right hand side are constant, leading us to the relation V over I equal to constant, which is Ohm's law. You know this constant is written as the resistance. So it also leads you to the to the expression for resistance as R is equal to ml over E square and tau A. However, remember that the relation is valid under certain conditions. The conditions are explicit in the statement of the law. For a conductor, that is, the conductor should be fixed, it should have a certain fixed length and area. At a given temperature, the potential difference across the ends of a conductor is directly proportional to the current passed through the conductor. Continuing with the lesson, let us now study the factors which affect the resistance of a conductor. The experimental studies show that resistance of a conductor depends on its length. More length, more resistance, that is, R is proportional to L, the length of the conductor. The second factor which affects the resistance of a conductor is its cross-sectional area. Larger area means thicker conductor offers lower resistance, therefore R is inversely proportional to area of the conductor. Combining the factors, we get R proportional to L over A, or R is equal to rho L over A, where rho is a constant called the resistivity of the material of the conductor. Note the material of the conductor, that is, the value of rho, the resistivity, does not depend on the shape and size of the conductor. It depends only on nature of the material, or the material of which the conductor has been made. The expression R is equal to rho L over A helps us get a definition of the term resistivity. Here in this expression, if L is 1 unit, area is 1 unit, then we get rho is equal to R. So we can define resistivity as numerically equal to resistance of a conductor with length 1 unit and area of cross section 1 unit. In SI units, the unit of resistivity is ohm meter, the symbol, and this is the name of the unit, ohm meter. The resistivity has very wide ranging values. Its value is extremely low for good conductors like silver. You can see the example here. The value is just 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 8 ohm meter. That is 0.000000016, very low value for good conductor, and very high for insulators. Hard rubber, for example, has a resistivity of 10 to the power 13 to 10 to the power 16 ohm meter. The variation here is due to the fact that rubber does not have a specific composition. Now let's obtain expression for R and rho. When we derived Ohm's law, we obtained the value of R as ml over E square and tau into A. We already know the various terms. Just rearranging, we can write this relation as m over E square and tau into L over A. Comparing equation 1 and 2, leave L over A, you get expression for resistivity as m over E square and tau. So a careful observation of this expression shows that there are two factors which may affect resistivity. One is N, the number of free electrons per unit volume. This value of N depends on nature of the material, and the other factor is temperature, which affects tau. The resistivity shows variation with temperature. The variation for three materials is as shown in the graphs. First graph represents variation of resistivity with temperature for copper. As you can see, the resistivity increases with rise in temperature. As temperature increases, the resistivity also increases. Reason is copper has free electrons in it which act as charge carriers. Higher temperature implies more random motion of the free electrons. Therefore, greater number of collisions take place, resulting in reduction in tau. As relaxation time or mean free time of the electrons decreases, the resistivity of copper shows a rise with rise in temperature. For nichrome, it's a material used to make wires of the heaters. The material nichrome is an alloy of nickel and chromium. The resistivity varies with rise in temperature. That is, you can see this is almost linear in variation or increase with rise in temperature. On the other hand, in semiconductors, the resistivity falls rapidly with rise in temperature. Reason is, in a semiconductor at 0 Kelvin, means very low temperature, we don't have any free charge carriers. Therefore, at 0 Kelvin, the semiconductors like germanium, silicon, they act as insulators. As temperature increases, we get free electrons because of thermal energy. Some of the electrons in semiconductors, they become free. That is, the value of N shows a rapid rise. Because of increase in N in a semiconductor with rising temperature, the resistivity falls rapidly as shown in the graph.